Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we are doing a Blue Wave combo video. Now, as always, you can get this playmat and another Blue Wave playmat in the link in the description. So many people saw my Thavas combo video and were like, do one for Blue Wave. And I'm like, Blue Wave is way more linear. The combos are way easier. All you have to do is hit your waves. This will kind of also be a tips and tricks video because combos are just less interesting. So one first tip is you don't have to rush with this deck. Old Blue Wave with Anger Boil was you call your title and your foibles and rush, 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 rush. Sure, that worked back then because every G deck would straight up just start crying when you rush them, but that's no longer the case. A lot of decks right now will just go off so hard on first stride and plus their hand to 12 and you're sitting there crying because you overextended and died. You don't have to play fast because his skill allows you to play slow. He puts your opponent at 11k, so all defensive triggers become worthless the second you stride. This means even if they're at a low damage count, the fact that you can do 5 or 6 attacks on first stride means that they will either have to drop their whole hand or take the damage. So all your tiny pokes, 11, 11, 11, 11, will push them to high damage regardless of how hard you rushed. And the more you rushed early, the less favorable this skill becomes. Because using this skill just for 1 damage, sure, that's fun and all, but it's way more potent to fuck with 4 damage at once. So you don't necessarily have to rush. That's one tip I can give you. For the next play, let's say this situation, it will occur. Once the new chaos drops, man, you're gonna fucking die. Your whole field is locked, right? Everything is locked. You have nothing. All locked zones. You're on Valeos, locked, 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 locked. There's nothing you can do. But you have your Galphilia. So what you can do is you can unlock one circle. But one circle isn't enough to do anything generally. So what are you gonna do? Well, let's say you have a Foivos in hand, right? You could stride into Alexandros, call down your Foivos, and you can swing with Foivos, swing with Alexandros, restand Foivos, and now this is third battle. So now you put all your triggers on here, you put that insane power on here, and you still have 2 gigantic swings that Chaos player has to guard. So that's basically the only way this deck is actually really solid, because you can still do your Alexandros plays even with just 1 open circle. Now, let's say it's worse. Let's say you don't have a Galphilia, so no Galphilia, fuck Galphilia, but you have 1 open rearguard circle here. That might happen from time to time because they will be very intelligent on where to lock, but this one is open. So what do? If Yorgos is in your drop zone, you could call down your Foivos here, give him the back row attack by binding him, and then still do the Alexandros bullshit. You could still go swing, swing, restand, swing, swing. Now, let's say you're going up against Chaos. Everything is locked down again, you're fucked. But you do have your Galphilia, so you flip open this. The only way you can plus is Brutal Troopers. Let's say you have 2 in hand, or even 3 in hand. So you've got 1 open circle now, thanks to that Galphilia. You can call your Brutal Troopers, send them deck, Brutal Troopers, send to deck, Brutal Trooper, send to deck. And you're on Flood Hazard. But you only have 1 open space. The great thing is that Gallias alone can activate your Flood Hazard. This is why Blue Wave might actually become pretty good against the heavy Chaos meta coming after Star Galaxy, because as you know, Chaos Rondo and Salvation, okay, that set was very good, but then immediately afterwards everyone got unflippers and shit like that, so Chaos kinda died off. It's still really solid, but it's not as oppressive anymore. In the span of 1 month that changed. So now with Star Galaxy, they are going to be oppressive again because all the lock from hands are getting so out of hand that the unflipping is fucking irrelevant and resist is irrelevant as well. This deck can actually still cope with that because 1 fucking column is enough to do all your attacks. So as I said, Blue Wave is very linear because it's just following the effect. You swing, it restands, swing, swing, restand, swing, and then you get all your draws. That's why I bumped it up to 4. So if you haven't seen the updated Blue Wave deck profile, please go check it out. I will add a link to it at the end of this video and even in the description. The updated deck profile is actually very solid against Gradora, Chaos. I still kinda hate it because the discard hurts, but the fact that you don't need a full field to do your plays makes him pretty potent in those matchups where you don't get a full field. Now let's say you're in this situation. You have your Valeos and your Chloris. It's your opponent's turn, he's gonna attack. You have this 1 in your drop zone already, for whatever reason, and you have 2 in your hand. In a normal situation, where you don't have Chloris, this would mean that you discard your heal, bind these 2, get your counter charge, and that's that. However, you can get so much more value now, because, let's say they attack. You discard your heal, they are bound, you get your counter charge, but then, on the next attack, you can use these cards to guard again. So you can maybe guard with this, that's 15k shield, just because of Chloris. because she allows you to guard from bind. This goes into drop zone, but then you can G-guard with the other heal, bind them again, and then do the same thing over and over. So instead of having 2 counter charges in total from your heals, you can actually have 3. Apart from that, what you also always want to be doing is use Yorgos' skill regardless of if it's useful at all. Let's say you have your Gallias here in the back row. You always want to be pushing multiple Yorgos skills, meaning back row attack, on him so that they're in bind, because your Chloris will push them into drop zone again anyway. So that way you can have 5, 10, 15 or even 20k guard for free every single turn. So the value isn't just in the back row attack. The value is in putting Yorgos into bind, guarding with it, to drop, into bind, guarding with it, and you can just keep looping that every single turn, getting some free 5k guards. This is basically why Chloris is so much better in Blue Wave than in Thavas, because in Thavas it's only for the heals, but here it's also for those perfect guards, and that together gives you so much free guard. Now, against Chaos or Overlord, that's in vain because they will just nuke this shit, but against any other deck this is so valuable. Now, let's say you're going against Gredora. You're in a really tight situation, they locked down this row, nothing was in there. You can still do some sick plays with just one Alexandros and then some cards. So, you stride into Alexandros, right? And then you call this and this. What you will be able to do is attack for 11k, attack with Alexandros, do your drive checks or whatever, put all the triggers on him, because he will swing twice. Choose these 2 units, restand, and then both will get power. Now you had your second wave because you went 1, 2. So then third wave, swing, restand, swing, swing. And out of that you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks with only 1 row. And you got your double restand to get that trigger pressure going. With just 1 row, 1 was locked down by Gredora. Now you could do the same with, let's say, Arsenal Fleet in the back here, by using Yorgos on him, and you could also swing the same way, but you don't always have the ideal situations. So this is why even against Gredora, Blue Wave can still do some things. So those were just some basic tricks and plays I use in my Blue Wave deck against these new matchups that are so painful, the control matchups. We generally die, but this at least gives you maybe a fighting chance. As I said, this playmat and another one will be in the link in the description. Subscribe to the Solemn Vanguard channel for more. Click the bell button to stay up to date, like fucking hit that shit. And let me know in the comments whether you would like to see more combo and tips and tricks videos like this for Blue Wave or Thavas or any other deck. Ciao!